The last unicorn. In a land where magic still whispered through the trees, there lived a creature of light, the last of her kind. There was once a beautiful kingdom ruled by King Orion, and under his rule, the land was filled with peace and quiet happiness. He had only one child, his beloved daughter, Princess Elara. But Elara was different. She had no friends, and her heart often felt left behind. She was quiet, underconfident, and deeply lonely. The kingdom land was filled with beautiful forests and vibrant green fields, alive with color and wonder.
Many of the forests were sprinkled with wildflowers in every color of the rainbow. There were also long, winding rivers and gentle streams that whispered through the land.
Many of these gentle streams came together, flowing into beautiful, cascading waterfalls.
The rivers danced through the land, carrying life, joy, and magic.
She loved to wander into the forest where the world felt gentle and kind. It's so peaceful today. Look at you, always chasing adventure.
She loved the little moments where magic felt alive.
You're not afraid of me, are you? Why? Yeah. She loved watching the little fish dancing through the water.
And sometimes she would play with them, forgetting all her worries.
She loved to read, finding stories that filled the quiet spaces in her heart. Every night, she would quietly leave the palace behind. She would wander through the quiet forest, where the world felt peaceful and free. It feels like I can finally breathe. I wish I had a true friend. Under her favorite tree, she would read every night, lost in stories of a world beyond her own. One evening, King Orion called Elara to the royal table.
You are my only child, and I worry for this kingdom. After me, someone must take care of it. I want you to take that responsibility. I will guide you every step of the way.
But Elara felt overwhelmed and afraid.
I'm not strong enough. I can't do this. She felt lost, unsure, and completely alone. That night, she returned to the only place that felt like home. Under the tree, she tried to lose herself in her books. What was that? The sound continued, echoing through the forest.
She couldn't see anything, but something was there.
What is that?
She saw a beautiful unicorn, trapped and sinking. She ran through the forest, searching desperately for anything that could save her.
There has to be something, anything. Wait, that might work. And in the heart of the forest, she found her answer.
She held on with everything she had, refusing to give up.
Come on!
With hope in her hands, she ran as fast as she could.
Hold on, I'm coming!
In that single moment, everything depended on her courage.
In the face of fear, she held on to hope. And at last, she was free from the darkness. Velora was safe now. She had saved her life, and in that moment, something magical began. You are so beautiful, and your horn, I've never seen anything like it. How did this happen? How did you fall into that trap? And with tears in her eyes, the unicorn began to tell her story. I am the last one surviving in my tribe. I have a magical horn. Wherever I touch, it turns into gold. Gold? I had a family. Just 3 of us. My mother, my father, and me.
One day, hunters came into the forest.
They discovered the secret of our magic, our horn. From that moment, they wanted our power. We were happy, safe, and together. Then one day, they came for us.
In a single cruel moment, the hunter struck without mercy.
Her mother, her light fading into the silence of the forest.
Run. Go the other way. Don't look back.
In that moment, a father chose sacrifice over fear. With danger closing in, her father ran toward the lake, searching for escape. Her father fell, his glow dissolving into the quiet darkness of the forest. By the silent lake, she found them, still, lifeless and without their magic. They took everything. Me.
And in the silence of loss, their light was taken. What was once sacred became a trophy of greed. Turn into gold. Why isn't it working? This was supposed to give me power! The stone remained just a stone, but the magic did not answer. No, this can't be. The magic isn't in the horn alone. We need the unicorn alive. The hunters stood in silence, their faces tight with tension. There the unicorn. And the hunt began again.
Without hesitation, Barakas gave chase. Don't let it escape!
She slipped through his grasp into the darkness. It was so hard just to stay alive. I didn't even realize when I crossed into a new forest.
Hidden beneath the quiet forest floor lay a silent trap. A place where even the strongest could vanish without a trace.
I didn't know this forest had danger beneath it, and I fell. And that was the moment everything almost ended. You don't have to be alone anymore. I'm here. From that day on, Elara and Velora became the very best of friends. They shared many magical adventures in the enchanted forest they called home. I heard about a magical waterfall. You'll love it! They followed the river deeper into the forest.
The ground shimmered with tiny drops of magic.
They're so beautiful. She loved every creature of the forest. Soon, they reached a bend in the river. The rabbit spoke in a language only magic could understand. And so they continued, guided by the forest. Careful, don't slip. Even the smallest creatures guided their path forward. Suddenly, the forest began to open. A shimmering waterfall flowed gently into the river below. A gentle mist rose, turning the air into magic.
And above it, a brilliant rainbow stretched across the sky.
It's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen, May.
A ray of light touched Velora, and her mane shimmered in every color. Her horn began to glow, brighter than ever before. With a graceful flick, she created a path of light. Come, trust me. Together, they stepped onto the colors of the rainbow. Elara could feel the magic shimmering all around her. She reached out and touched the clouds themselves. But the most wonderful sight of all was the world below them. She saw her home, the castle she loved. The deep forests, the winding rivers, and the tall mountains. But something else caught her attention. The rainbow did not lead back, but somewhere new.
A secret garden, unlike anything they had ever seen. Trees of gold, bearing magical fruit.
Flowers that changed colors with every breath of magic.
And fairies dancing through the air. She had never seen a place like this. Velora lowered herself, and Elara stepped down. The ground itself shimmered with magic. She felt lighter than air. Magic lifted them into the air. And all around her, she could hear the whispers of wishes.
From the glowing garden, a fairy appeared.
You're beautiful.
And in that moment, magic stood before her. You have come to the Forest Wish Garden.
I can see you were very unhappy in your kingdom. What was the reason?
Yes, I was very lonely. I didn't have any true friend. And for the first time, she spoke her heart aloud.
Now that you have reached the Forest Wish Garden, you may wish for anything. We will make it come true.
I don't need anything now, because I have my true friend, Velora.
It's beautiful to see that your heart holds no wishes. If I ever need to make a wish, I will come back and ask. May your heart always stay full of light.
And once again, the path of magic appeared before them. Together, they followed the magic back home. As the sun rose, the waterfall awakened in golden light. Morning joy danced among its creatures. Even the tiniest creatures danced with the morning. It's time for me to return to the castle, but tonight we will meet again for another adventure. Alone, she walked through the forest, her heart calm and full. With the morning light, Elara returned to her castle. She returned.
Elara, good morning. So, what have you decided about the kingdom?
Father, please give me some time to decide. She returned to her room, seeking quiet.
By the window she sat, lost in her thoughts.
From her window, she watched the life of the palace unfold below.
They trained every day with strength, focus, and unwavering discipline.
And in the quiet forest, Velora waited for night to fall. For she knew they would meet again. In the golden morning light, Velora played freely with the creatures of the forest.
And as the sun faded, night gently embraced the castle and the forest.
Oh, I'm a little late today, yeah. And somewhere in the forest, someone was waiting. Then she quietly slipped away into the night. She returned to the place that felt like home. Her favorite tree, waiting quietly in the night.
She thought Velora would be waiting for her there like every day.
Velora, where are you? Velora, where are you? She ran, searching desperately through the forest.
She stopped, hoping to hear even the faintest sound.
Velora, please. In the darkness, shapes began to appear. Rabbits and the great horned deer stood together in silence.
Overwhelmed, she could no longer hold back her tears.
Do you know where Velora is?
Hunters came here and they took Velora.
What happened? How did this happen?
Some of Barakas' hunters came here, searching for Velora.
They bound her and took her away into the darkness, and the forest could do nothing but watch. Do you know where Barakas went?
We do not know.
The weight of the answer sank in, heavy with unspoken truths.
She broke down, lost in fear and helplessness.
What do I do? Velora, please. How will I know where Velora is? And then she remembered. The wish. With new hope, she ran into the darkness. She searched for the waterfall, guided by faith and memory. And at last, she found it. Through the darkness, the rainbow became her guide. I will find you, Velora.
Once more, she entered the Forest Wish Garden, a place where magic listens and answers.
Lyriel, where are you? In the heart of magic, she searched for the one who could help. And just as hope flickered, she appeared. Elara, you came back. Lyriel, I need your help urgently. Elara, what happened? Lyriel, hunters came into the forest. They took Velora from the forest. They took her because of her magical horn. Please grant me a wish so I can find where she is. Don't worry, Elara, I will help you. And in that moment, hope returned to her heart. I know where Velora is. She is in another forest, Lunarith Woods.
Barakas has taken her.
She is bound deep in the forest. She is very sad. And far away her light was fading. With fear in her heart, she ran back to the castle. How could she save Velora? Then she chose courage. Train me. I need to fight.
My lady, it is too dangerous.
I must, for the kingdom. She began from nothing. No longer just a princess, she became a warrior. For love had given her strength.
Steady your stance. Strength comes from balance.
Breathe, follow focus.
I'll breathe.
She learned to aim with focus. She fell, not from weakness, but from the weight of the journey. And when she rose stronger than before. With every step, she grew stronger. Not just in skill, but in courage. She was no longer learning, she had become a warrior, forged by courage and love. I'm coming for you, Velora.
No fear remained, only purpose.
And so she stepped beyond the life she knew, not as a princess, but as a warrior on a mission.
With courage in her heart, she rode into the unknown. This was no ordinary forest. I'm coming, Velora. No matter what.
And so, she entered the enemy's land. Deep within the forest, the enemy waited.
She moved like a shadow. And there she found her. Carefully, she reached her friend. In one heartbeat, the shadows turned against her.
Intruder! Contender!
The silence shattered, and the hunt began.
The first strike came without warning. But she was ready. Surrounded, with no way out, she did not step back. The archer within awakened. She moved faster than fear. With skill and unstoppable will. Elara is fighting against them with all her strength.
And the battle is intense now.
Barakas fighting against a true friend.
The fear was gone. And the battle turned in her favor. The final moment came without warning. And with it came victory.
The storm had passed and only echoes remained. The battle was over, and a warrior stood victorious.
Through darkness and battle she returned to the one she fought for. You're safe now, Velora. The chains were broken, and hope returned with the light. From the darkness, her light returned, and with it, hope was restored. She returned, not as she left. She returned as a warrior. She walked into the hall as a leader.
They stood face to face,
Father, I am ready now. I am capable of taking responsibility for the kingdom. I will rule. A journey shaped by courage had given rise to a queen. Together, they brought light back to the world.